We tank the charge move and pivot into Ducklett. We're going to go straight for the aerial ace. This is why I don't run bubble beam, unlike the opponent. Aerial ace lands for big damage. The opponent builds up to what could be a brave bird. I dare the opponent to throw it, and again they masturbate with the bubble beam. Out comes the leap. I am going to respect the ancient power. I am debuffed, but if the opponent don't know about how hard Shadow Ducklett hits, they're about to find out. We full send the brave bird. They near get one shot. Welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. You can see on the screen I am already legend. I did play them battles live on Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's linked in the description down below, so I don't have them battles. However, I did tank back to 2860, giving out a load of free wins to experts. However, we did reclimb to legend, and this is the team I used to run it. Without a doubt, this team is absolutely busted. Even on my legend run, I did give out some free wins, and I was still able to reach 30-25. Few points to note. You're going to notice all my Pokemon are attack weighted, and that is because essentially in this meta you see about 8 Pokemon. I like to win CMP. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. In game 1 we won lead against Shroomish. They brought in Seal. I say switched into Bulbasuar. We took them out with the Seed Bomb. The opponent now shows their third. I commit to the Sludge Bomb. The opponent goes for the Bubble Beam. That doesn't get the job done, and Bulbasuar about to do big damage with the Sludge Bomb. The opponent still has 2 shields. We show them their own Ducklett. This is again only a Bubble Beam. I've got zero intention of shielding. They do debuff us. Back out comes Shroomish that has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I bank a boatload of energy, Shaodw Vulpix, and that is going to be all she wrote. Moving on to the next battle. We see Chinchou. Chinchou, I'm going to be honest, not the best Pokemon in this meta. It essentially beats Ducklett. What else does it do? We're a fire type, they're a water type. They have to respect the body slam. They go straight for the Bubble Beam. We don't need to shield this. Bubble Beam is super effective, but ironically does less than our body slam. They then switch out into Execute, and we answer with Ducklett. I can now return my shield here, and we are going to commit to the full wing attack farm down. Not only will Ducklett leave with a boatload of energy, I've left 0 farm for the returning Chinchou. And in case Chinchou didn't know about the power of Shadow Ducklett, they're about to find out. Absolutely nothing wants to tank a brave bird. I go straight for it. The opponent shows no respect. They near get one shot. I snipe with a single Vine Whip. The opponent's final Pokemon is the Leap. Due to them being a rock and grass type, all our grass type damage is neutral and the opponent concedes. Moving on to the next one. Again we see Chinchou in the lead. We win CMP. Body Slam going to do massive damage. I think if I was Chinchou in this matchup, I'd actually build up to a Thunderbolt, as that potentially can do some big damage. However, opponents seem to love to masturbate with Bubble Beams. I'm going to take that, as this opponent is going to get outpaced, and we're going to reach another Body Slam, even debuffed. Shaodw Vulpix hits like a truck. We're so low. I look for the snipe, and we get it with Bulbasaur. The opponent now sends out Execute. We are going to be able to outpace to the Sludge Bomb. The opponent already down 1 shield. Do they want to respect the damage? They do not. Get absolutely wrecked. The opponent has their own Shadow Ducklett in the back, so evidently a man of culture. Normal Duck is ranked higher, but the Shadow just does so much ridiculous damage. We've got 2 shields, they've only got 1. I imagine this is a Bubble Beam bait, but there's no real point in attempting to 2 shield flex. We do shield up the Bubble Beam, and unlike the opponent, as I've got Aerial Ace, we can just spam out Aerial Aces. The opponent actually calls it, and that is why you don't run Bubble Beam, as we can now shield this up, and we're going to have to wing attack, farm down for the finish. This opponent learned a valuable lesson today. Don't run that silly Bubble Beam move. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Shadow Ducklett. Again, not a matchup that I need to switch out of. I normally attempt a CMP tie to the Bubble Beam. This opponent actually catches the Bubble Beam on the leap. Shout out to this opponent. He's actually a friend of the channel. I have featured. So evidently he's been to school and learned to count. However, I answer with Bulbasaur. I throw on the CMP tie. Seed Bomb does return the leap to their Pokeball. Back out comes Ducklett. They are going to need to Brave Bird to take me out. Or if they're on Aerial Ace, that would also do the job. Unfortunately, they are not. It's just a Bubble Beam that allows Bulbasaur to make the Sludge Bomb even debuff. This is going to do huge damage. I managed to gain myself shield advantage. I'm now going to send out my own Ducklett, and again we find ourselves in the bait game. Come on, don't bait me. You know there's no baits. I get baited by a friend. You hate to see it. However, as we're attack weighted, I'm going to throw the Aerial Ace on the CMP tie. That still knocks out even debuff. The opponent's final Pokemon is Execute. I bank some energy, switch out into Vulpix. This Weather Ball will be drawing the final shield, and the Aerial Ace is going to be all she wrote. We do get Confusion farmed all the way down. We lose CMP, however, as I've still got a shield, we can shield up the Ancient Power, even a boost, not going to save him, as Aerial Ace definitely enough to knock out Disclaimer, aerial ace in any move other than this little cup is aerial ass, as it is terrible. However, in little cup it's actually alright. Moving on to the next one. We see the Shaodw Vulpix mirror. I never throw on CMP as I'm attack weighted. I don't like to let the opponent know that we're going to be winning that CMP tie 99% of the time. So how I always play it, I always farm up to the back-to-back. The opponent shields, now we throw on CMP. The opponent realises we've got a ridiculous attack stat. This is either going to force the final shield or we're going to win lead. The opponent shields it up and that's perfectly fine for me. I'm going to allow body slam to take me out. The opponent goes for the undercharge. I can now send in Ducklett. Even if we've got Chin Chow, we know Brave Bird does a ridiculous amount. So I'm going to shield up this body slam. It would do quite a lot. The opponent sends out Slowpoke and it's going to be high Slowpoke, by Slowpoke. Get fucking wrecked. Brave Bird returns them to their Pokeball. The opponent's final Pokemon is Execute. I should have thrown one more wing attack. However, Aerial Ace I assumed would knock out. It actually doesn't. However, despite my potato alignment throw, it's actually worked out perfectly as one Vine Whip takes them out. We didn't even take the confusion damage and we managed to Vine Whip down. Moving on to the next one. We see Ducklett in the lead. Pretty good pick actually. Shout out to King GBL who did showcase this Pokemon. I've hardly seen anyone use it, although I do think it's pretty good. We do resist the bug type quick move. However, you can see our Shaodw Vulpix doesn't have too much HP. As always, we tank the Bubble Beam. We switch out into our Ducklett. The opponent answers with Low Toad, and that is not a response to Ducklett. We throw the Aerial Ace. The opponent shields it up, but we've got plenty more of where that comes from. We throw Aerial Ace number 2. The opponent has no shields, and that is going to secure the knockout. If anyone from Niantic is watching my channel, which I doubt, I'd highly recommend banning Ducklett from this meta as it is so busted. The opponent sends back out Ducklett. They attempted to resist it. Bug Bite farm down. They don't make it. We take them out with yet another Aerial Ace Ducklett running through the opponent's team. They had their own Ducklett in the back and they've just conceded. Moving on to the next one. Shadow on Shadow Crime. Typing advantage with me. Vulpix into Bulbasuar. The opponent attempts to catch a move on Ducklett. I hold my energy, fire off the body slam, force some chip damage, and I'm going to enter the mirror. As I have chipped and dipped, this is a pretty good opportunity to maintain alignment. I am going to respect a potential Brave Bird and the opponent full sends it, and I'm a huge fan of that play. And in the end of the battle you're going to find out why. This is just a Bubble Beam, so I'm not going to shield this up. We can now wing attack farm down. If the opponent returns with Bulbasuar, they are going to need to dump energy immediately. They actually choose to send out Chin Chow, and I'm going to full send my own Brave Bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes they do. We're not going to make another Brave Bird, so I'm going to take some chip damage with the Aerial Art, and that does pretty much nothing. We now send out our own Bulbasaur. I know this is just a Bubble Beam as they throw it immediately. The opponent might look to combo play. We call the combo play. I'm just going to sack Vulpix. If they go for a Sludge Bomb, it will knock out, and the opponent again has not baited. And that is going to be the key, as I love to say no baits on this channel. Despite me throwing a Seed Bomb, Shadow on Shadow, this is enough to knock out. The opponent shields it up. I am going to return the shield. Seed Bomb wouldn't knock me out from this range. It does about 33%. I overfarm by a single Vine Whip just to allow myself to win CMP. Seed Bomb does secure the knockout. Back out comes Chin Chow. This game should be over. However, spoiler alert, I'm going to hit no bobbles, and as the opponent didn't bait me, I'm going to concede the match as they are expert and I am legend. Huge shout out to that trainer, as I actually have seen he's made legend. Congrats. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Chin Chow. Again, we fire off the body slam, hoping to gain shield advantage. This opponent actually lets it go. We can also tank this, and as I said earlier, you're going to see that body slam, despite being neutral, does more damage. The opponent, say, switches into Cottony, and I switch out into Ducklett. This again is a matchup where Aerial Ace is really nice. You can hit for super effective without debuffing. The opponent does shield the Aerial Ace. We can shield the Seed Bomb and play out the ones. Let's see if the opponent's willing to double shield. I shield up the Seed Bomb. I throw the next Aerial Ace after only 2 quick moves. You always want to throw at 1, 4 or 7, but I think the next charm will take me out, and it actually does. So I needed to throw it immediately because I wouldn't have actually been able to throw 4 wing attacks. I can now send in Bulbasaur, and we're going to look to go for the world's most ambitious Vine Whip farm down. This is only a Seed Bomb, but I am going to shield it up. We're just going to keep as much health on Bulbasaur as possible. They send back out Chin Chow. That gets farmed down. Come on, trainer, show me your third. Oh, hi, Execute. And goodbye, Execute. Get fucking wrecked. Sludge Bomb absolutely one-shots, and we Vine Whip down Cottony and take that game. Moving on to the next one. Yet another Chin Chow, and again the opponent throws the Bubble Beam. Do they give me a shield? Come on, trainer, put up that shield. And again, Vulpix out here grabbing shields. Both Ducklett and Bulbasuar are phenomenal closers. Vulpix's job is to gain ourselves shield advantage. The opponent attempts to catch, or maybe even snipe with Ducklett, and I'm going to enter into my own Ducklett. I am going to respect a potential Brave Bird. I was actually thinking of calling the bait, and I'm glad I did not. This now allows me to throw the Aerial Ace as they've debuffed themselves. Aerial Ace will secure the knockout. The Chinchou is pretty low, and I'm going to full send the Brave Bird. This will knock out or grab the final shield. The opponent is now all shields down. They do manage to spark farm us all the way down. However, we've already seen that Vulpix does win CMP. I fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam does huge damage. The opponent dumps their energy. They survived on 1 HP and a Dream. It doesn't really matter, as I believe Bulbasaur with a shield should be good to win this game. However, they've got an Ember Vulpix. This looks pretty dreadful, but when shields are down, Shadow Bulbasaur goes to town. We one-shot them and we Vine Whip down. Bulbasaur coming in clutch. Let's go. Yet another Chinchou in the lead. This opponent is the first opponent that is smart. They don't CMP. They've obviously played this match out a million times, and to be honest, haven't we all? The opponent builds up to a potential Thunderbolt. I never shield. The opponent goes for the Bubble Beam. We know we do survive and even debuff. This Body Slam does a lot of damage. It puts them into the yellow. They do manage to spark farm us all the way down. However, we can come in with Bulbasaur. The opponent gives up Switch. They send out Execute, and you've already seen what I like to do here. I'm going to shield once, commit to the wing attack, farm down. Ancient Power gets no boost. This is going to leave us so low. We can just fire off the Brave Bird at absolutely anything, whatever they throw. I am going to Brave Bird. The opponent could actually come into Chinchou and win CMP. They choose to do that, and I'm just going to allow Ducklett to go down as we can come in with Bulbasaur, Vine Whip, farm them down. We've got an energy advantage. What is that final Pokemon? The opponent's got Ducklett. I go straight for the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will be doing big damage. The opponent commits that shield, and that is going to allow them to win this game, I think. I am going to shield up the Bubble Beam, but I think with the debuff, they are going to survive the Sludge, and I don't even make it. GG's to that opponent. Very, very nicely played. Moving on to the next battle. Vulpix into Chikorita. The opponent pivots into an Ember Vulpix. I think I should have went Ducklett immediately. However, I've stayed in now, so I'm going to commit to staying in. We will win this in any even shielding scenario. I farm up a boatload of energy. I think I'm close to 100. I fire off the first Body Slam. The opponent shields it up, so we're going to fire off Body Slam. Number 2. Is the opponent willing to double shield? They are not. Down goes their own Vulpix. The opponent now sends out Ducklett. I attempt to CMP tie to the Bubble Beam. The opponent doesn't throw. So this Body Slam should do some nice chip damage. They actually commit a shield, and here comes my own Ducklett. They've got enough for a Brave Bird. I am going to respect it. The opponent full sends. We can now just throw the Aerial Ace. We build up to the Brave Bird, throw the Aerial Ace, and the opponent makes a great catch. However, they've caught the Aerial Ace on Chikorita. This is going to allow us to wing attack farm them all the way down. The opponent's only got a Bubble Beam here. Bubble Beam won't knock out. We survive that very easily. However, no debuff is saving this opponent from their fate. Brave Bird to the face. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving swiftly on, another Chinchou. The opponent actually going to pivot into an Ember Vulpix. Fine with me. This time I'm definitely going to want to stay in, as the opponent has 0 energy and I want to rely on my Bulbasaur with that Chinchou. The opponent shields the Body Slam. We're going to shield as well. Ember actually doing more than quick attack despite being resisted. Well, it looks about even, but we generate energy quicker, so we are going to win this in any even shielding scenario. The opponent choosing to double shield, thinking they can flip switch. Trainer, I promise you can't. We shield up the Body Slam. I can now over farm. I am going to fire off the Body Slam when I'm pretty close to the back-to-back. I think I'm 1 short. Body Slam will secure the knockout. Can we get some chip damage off on the Chinchou? I think I'm 1 quick move away. Oh, actually was at the back-to-back. What am I on about? Body Slam will land for some big chip damage. We allow minimal farm. I'm now going to send out Bulbasaur. The opponent sends out Ducklett. I pivot into my own Ducklett. I know I'm behind in energy. I'm just going to force the opponent to throw the Brave Bird. Thanks, Ducklett. Great contribution, buddy. We get absolutely wrecked. I now send out Bulbasaur. I'm going to fire off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb with the debuff enough to secure the knockout. Down goes Ducklett. Back out comes Chinchou, and Bulbasaur is going to sweep this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. The very overpowered Ducklett once again coming in clutch. This time uses a 3rd shield. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Cottony. The whole team does pretty good against Cottony. I was looking top right, I saw a water type in. I pivot into Bulbasuar, very questionable. However, we do manage to gain ourselves shield advantage. However, I think that was definitely a misplay. Let's see if we can play our way out of this one. I come into Ducklett. I'm going to hope I can shield once and farm all the way down. Slowpoke does have a lot of energy. Can we wing attack farm all the way down? No, they survive. Fuck it, I'm going to invest both shields as Ducklett with energy is lethal. We shield up the second Shy Shock. We do wing attack farm all the way down. If Cottony does return, they know we got Vulpix, so there is no bait. I'm going to full send it. Does the opponent respect the damage? They don't. Get wrecked. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Shadow Execute, and this game's over. I could have thrown the Aerial Ace comboed into Vulpix. However, there's no need as Vulpix can easily just get to double moves, and that is going to be all she wrote, despite me playing like a potato in that battle. GG's. Moving on to the next battle, another Ducklett. So we're going to try and CMP tie to a Bubble Beam. As I get closer to Legend rank, players obviously aren't as stupid. This opponent does shield up though, so again Vulpix getting shield advantage. Come on trainer, Brave Bird me, I dare you. Another Bubble Beam bait, so we're going to enter into our own Ducklett. This is enough for a Brave Bird, and again, come on trainer, throw the Brave Bird, yet another Bubble Beam. As I am debuffed, Aerial Ace won't knock out, so I'm just full sending the Brave Bird. The opponent already down one shield, lets it go. The opponent waiting out their timer despite not being switch locked. I'm very grateful for that. The opponent now sends out Vulpix, and you might be wondering why I'm going for an Aerial Ace. As they've thrown two Bubble Beams, trainer, this is how you bait. They get baited. I do give them more farm, but I think I'm just messing around at this point. I really get annoyed with people throwing Bubble Beams, and we managed to gain a shield. So the master baiting ranks of Jamie 1, this opponent 0. They had a boatload of energy, they don't throw. We win CMP, and you can just have my Vulpix at this stage. 2 shield Bulbasuar should be pretty good against pretty much anything. I am going to shield this up. We will be able to Vine Whip farm them all the way down. The opponent does not get farmed down. They switch out the last second, send out Oddish, and that is game over. Moral of the story, don't throw Bubble Beams. Moving on to the next one. Again, we see the Vulpix mirror. So as I said earlier in the video, I never throw on CMP. I always shield the first move, and I'm going to throw 3 quick attacks, getting me to the back-to-back. So the opponent now has the energy for a Body Slam. As I've got 13 attack, I'm pretty confident I'm going to win CMP. The opponent just completely sacks their Vulpix. They now send out Ducklett. We're going to look to get off as much chip damage as possible. We're almost at back-to-back Body Slams. The first one goes unshielded. The second one will definitely be pressuring a shield now. So we're going to get our shield back. Vulpix, so spammy. Can we make one more? The opponent gets scared. Throw in that energy. Vulpix, you absolute savage. Good to see another trainer on Aerial Ace. They didn't actually Bubble Beam me. This is enough for a Brave Bird. I like the idea of 2 versus 1. So I do shield up. They full send. And it is execute in the back. I farm up, throw at good timing after 5 wing attacks. We throw the Aerial Ace, the opponent calls the bait, they get absolutely wrecked, and we can wing attack farm down and take a dub. Let's go. Moving on to the next one, another Ducklett in the lead. Let's see if this opponent falls for CMP. Yes, they do. Do we get a shield as well? That's best case scenario, and that is absolutely perfect. Vulpix, just so good. We tank the Bubble Beam, pivot into our own Duck, and go straight for the Aerial Ace, looking to get off some chip damage. The opponent now has the energy for a Brave Bird. However, as I have chipped them, I'm more than happy just to allow Ducklett to go down. However, would you look at that? The most pointless Bubble Beam bait in the wild. Easy tank. They now send out Laleep. Laleep might be thinking we're debuffed. However, I'm up shields. I am going to respect the ancient power, and I am not baiting. I'm going to full send the Brave Bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get absolutely wrecked. Their Ducklett is pretty low, so I imagine they're going to send out their third. They send out their own Bulbasuar. So I'm going to fire off this Aerial Ace, which will either draw a final shield or do big damage. I now send out my own Bulbasuar. The opponent has enough for a Sludge. They've already baited me twice. Why am I shielding? This game was absolutely infuriating. You can see there I paused the turn, not wanting to give the trainer the attempt at a catch. So I overfarmed just a touch, allowing myself to get to the Sludge Bomb on CMP, and we lose CMP. No! I'm going to lose this absolute master baiter. You hate to see it. I think Vulpix is going to get outpaced. I'm waiting out my timer, looking to make a catch. We don't make a catch, and that is going to be a heartbreaking loss. Fucking hell, 2 Bubble Beams and a Seed Bomb. And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's. I think I should have just overfarmed 2 more Vine Whips with my Bulbasuar, which would have been CMP to that potential Brave Bird, which we win, and then I would have definitely outpaced. I think that was a really terrible matchup, but enjoy me getting my ass kicked. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Execute. Despite us having the typing advantage, you can see Confusion tearing us apart. However, we'll get both shields off this opponent. I'm just going to allow my Vulpix to go down. We're going to take our 1 shield advantage, come in with Ducklett. I am going to have to give my shield back on the Ancient Power. However, when shields are down, Shadow Ducklett will absolutely go to town. They send out Vulpix. I fire off the Brave Bird. Before they're able to reach a Bubble Beam, Brave Bird will be one-shotting. The opponent sends out Seal. I send out Bulbasaur. We could take him out with a Seed Bomb. However, the Execute is still alive. I think I lose kind of as if they Confusion fire me down and throw the Ancient Powers. I go for an undercharge. I look to get off the Seed Bomb on Execute. The opponent realises that and concede their match. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Ducklett. Again, we look to throw on CMP. The opponent doesn't throw. We get off the Body Slam, but we do get shield advantage. The opponent is at a Brave Bird, and as always, we're calling it. The opponent throws the Bubble Beams. We're now going to pivot. The opponent is building up to another Brave Bird. The irony of what I've noticed in Element Cup is the higher the elo, the more players love to bait. Again, we call it. And this is where we're going to open up a really controversial topic. This opponent is at 2998. I've give out a load of free wins. However, as this guy is so close, this would definitely be someone I'd normally top left for. However, you're going to see here, the opponent kind of just gives up and they throw far too many silly baits. They send out Bulbasaur. We fire off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does go shielded. We now combo into Vulpix. We make the Weather Ball. So the opponent probably thinks the game's over. However, I'm not going to shield anything, trainer. If you throw a Brave Bird, you're going to win. They managed to wing attack farm us all the way down. I'm going to send out Bulbasaur. Obviously, Bubble Beam isn't the play. You're going to see an instant no shield. Come on, trainer, Brave Bird me. They throw a Bubble Beam. Hello, trainer. And now, ironically, they concede. Yikes. What are your thoughts on that? Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Oddish, a great matchup. You're going to notice here, I am going to throw Body Slams in case the opponent tries to catch on something like an Elite, where it'll be resisted, or a Water type. So I'm just going to go straight Body Slam in this matchup. Because while Body Slam's probably enough to knock out, the opponent gives me both shields, so I'm going to pivot into Bulbasaur. I am going to respect the potential Sludge Bomb and the opponent full sends it. I'm going to farm up a boatload of energy. Seed Bomb is resisted, but Seed Bomb definitely enough to knock out. Bulbasaur of energy is lethal. Can Bulbasaur sweep this team? They send out Execute. And you already know it's going to be high Execute, by Execute. They get absolutely wrecked. The opponent's final Pokemon is Chinchou, and Bulbasaur is going to complete a very impressive sweep. GG's, and thanks for playing. Judging by the amount of lag, it looks like the opponent has closed their app. Moving on to the next one, the Shaodw Vulpix Mirror. So I'm going to allow the opponent to throw first, and again look to throw one before CMP and then CMP time. So I shield the Body Slam. I think I'm 2 away, so I throw 2 quick attacks, fire off the first Body Slam. The opponent has to shield or we'll take him out. They just allow their Vulpix to go down, and we've already seen Vulpix is lethal. They send out Slowpoke. We are going to make 2 moves, so I should get my shield back here. The first Body Slam does get shielded. I'm going to throw 1 quick attack and the next Body Slam. Body Slam from Vulpix hits so hard that already into the yellow. We can now send out Ducklett. As this is a regular Slowpoke, we can tank the Psy Shock, but it does do quite a lot. The opponent is going to get farmed down. Unless they switch last second into Ducklett. I'm going to full send the Brave Bird. Brave Bird does go shielded. I now switch out into Bulbasaur. This is usually a terrible matchup. However, the opponent has no shields. I am going to shield up the Bubble Beam. I'm going to keep as much health on my Bulbasaur as possible. I fire off the Sludge Bomb on CMP. I really hope this knocks out. However, the opponent does survive. However, we should survive this Bubble Beam. Can we Vine Whip down? It's going to be close. It's a Simul KO. We've still got Ducklett alive, and 1 wing attack is enough to take that game. Very close. So those were the battles with the most busted team in the Element Cup. I climbed from the late 2800s back up to 3035, I think, something like that. So if you're looking to reach your goal in the Element Cup, looking to push the legend, I'd highly recommend this team, as that was exactly the elo that I played these in. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.